Airline.
The Clippers can do whatever the hell they want, but I'm not going. I'm not going to trust them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
About like two contending teams dealing with injury issues. We got two of the best center power forwards in the game in Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid. Both their teams are looking like they could go to the conference finals and make it to the NBA finals, but they're both dealing with injuries at that position. So, Mukhtar, I'll start with you. Who is at a bigger disadvantage for the loss of their superstar to make that championship run?
Originally, when I wrote this out, I was saying Joel Embiid, just because Joel Embiid is the best player on his team. Anthony Davis isn't the best player on his team. But I just saw a report today that Anthony Davis, they reevaluated his injury and they said that he's going to be out for another 4 more weeks. So I actually really don't know what the extent of his injury is. So like, as it pertains to that, and seeding is really important in the Western Conference because you don't want to run into the wrong matchup in the second round or in the first round. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're the Lakers, you want to build up so you can play the tough opponents in the conference final. So I would say the Lakers as of for now.
Jaylon, who do you think is at a bigger disadvantage with their championship run at stake, with two of their best players out in Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid?
Who's the second option on the Philadelphia 76ers?
Tobias Harris? Benjamin Simmons? Yeah. Option? Yeah, Tobias Harris.
Tobias or Benjamin Simmons. So let's say Benjamin Simmons.
Okay,
let's say Benjamin Simmons. Because he's getting paid like a second option. If I told you lose AD, but you don't worry, you still have LeBron. And then in the same breath, I say, you're losing Embiid. Don't worry, you have Ben Simmons. Exactly. That's the exact same reaction. That's the exact same reaction I would expect. It's Philadelphia. Philadelphia are going to be decimated by this because Ben Simmons sucks. And I said it with my whole chest. Ben Simmons sucks. I will never understand. Never, ever, ever will I understand the infatuation with Benjamin Simmons. Never. I think LeBron has proven in his career that he can carry pieces of wood to deep playoff runs. So to be honest, I'm not worried about the Lakers getting into a deep playoff run. But if you don't have Joel Embiid, where does your offense come from if you're Philadelphia?
Very valid point. Perry, let's move this to you. We have two people saying, we have one person saying the Lakers, one person saying the Sixers. Where do you lie in terms of which team's at a bigger loss without their superstar forward?
I think the Lakers are at a bigger loss, not because of Jaylon's premises. I think Jaylon is just, I don't know what's going on, but hatred is running rampant in his heart. I see it from this perspective. If you were to tell me my second best player is Kyle Kuzma, I'd say cool. Then if you were to tell me Kyle Kuzma said he needs to step up and help, I'd say even better. But now if you were to tell me that he considered help scoring 4 points the next Le lendemain, I said it in French for a reason. Do you know why I said it in French for a reason? Because French properly encapsulates the disappointment that everybody felt when he said, we know LeBron needs help, and the next day he had a whopping 4 points. Now, if you're to tell me that on the Sixers, my second best player is Ben Simmons, I'll say cool. Now, if you're to tell me he's partnered with Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Danny Green, come on. The Lakers are at the biggest disadvantage. Like, yeah, you have LeBron, but you can only bring people so far until the wheels fall off. And he's 38 years old. The load on him is reckless. And you need to preserve him to a certain extent for the playoffs. Like, regardless of how well he's playing, you know that you can't count on him to sustain this level of play if you want long-term success over the course of multiple seasons.
But
okay,
can I not argue that Dennis Schroeder is the second best player on the Lakers, and then it would be Montrezl Harrell? Like, for me, Kyle Kuzma is like he would be fifth. He'd be the fifth best player. So I still have Dennis Schroeder. I still have Montrezl Harrell, who I believe are both back. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to me, that looks a lot better than Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris.
You see, that's where I disagree because I just feel like the Lakers are lacking so much. Like at least Ben Simmons can give me elite level potential defensive player of the year defense. At least Tobias Harris I can account for 24 points per game from him as per his average on 50% shooting, 40 from the 3-point line, and almost 90 at the free throw line. But what can you say about the Lakers? You mean to tell me you're going to rely on Dennis Schroeder over Tobias?
He's averaging 17 a game.
Tobias is averaging 24.
So 3 points.
17 to 24.
Oh shit! I thought you said 20. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I was so confused. That's
I thought you said 20. I thought you said 20.
You were like, so 3 points. I was like, bro, where's this attitude coming from?
Before we move on to the next question,
I was already upset.
I just want to throw out a question to like all of you. It's gonna put you guys on the spot, kind of, but it's pertaining to this subject. So basically, let's say hypothetically both AD and Joel Embiid are out. Right? They're out for the playoffs. They're out for the season. How far does each team go and who knocks them out? I know it's all about positioning, but who do you see having the easiest time to knock them out? How far do they go? Jalen, I'll start with you.
The Lakers can get to the finals.
Okay.
The Sixers will lose in the first round.
The Lakers can or are most likely to get to the finals without AD?
Are more likely to get to the finals than the Philadelphia 76ers would be.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where
they
don't have to face a Brooklyn, they don't have to face a Milwaukee, they don't have to face a Boston. Inshallah, they make the playoffs, knock on wood. Come on, B-Town. But the Lakers have to contend with the youth. Like I just see I think LeBron can carry the Lakers further than Benjamin can carry the Sixers.
Even against the Clippers?
Should have forgot about them. I just see the Sixers losing in the first round. I don't see LeBron losing in the first round because he never has in his career.
Okay, so you think that they will make it to the Western Conference Finals, if not the finals, without AD?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Perry, let's go to you. Where do you fit? What do you think?
Give me 1 second. I personally think that the Sixers are at the biggest disadvantage, particularly in the playoffs. So I think they're a first round, probably a second round exit. Whereas the Lakers, I see them as a second round exit as well. I think that Western Conference is loaded. I think LeBron at 38 years old, I know he wants his respect. I'm going to give you all the respect you need, but how much can you really do with this Lakers team?
36.
It's 36, sorry. How much can you really do with this Lakers team when you don't even know where your next big game is coming from, apart from yourself, right? You're not worried about LeBron. I know LeBron's going to get 25, 20, maybe even 40, 10 and 10. But they might actually just lose the game 60 to whatever because LeBron gave you your assist and points. But nobody else is stepping up to the plate. Plus, you're undersized at the center position. So now you have Montrezl Harrell at 6'7". The reason why Montrezl Harrell was a very effective acquisition in the offseason is that he was partnered with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis cures whatever mistakes go on towards the rim, and Montrezl Harrell can do what he does. But now Montrezl Harrell has to take a bigger defensive burden. The issue is that Anthony Davis's shoulders held so much of the weight of the Lakers that losing him means that now everybody has to step up defensively. Marc Gasol isn't really playing youth basketball. And yeah, I think that's where I'm going with it. I think the Lakers are at a huge disadvantage, and to make it past the second round would be a surprise without Anthony Davis.
Valid points. Mukhtar, where do you stand? Where would Lakers and the 76ers go in the playoffs without Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, and who potentially do you see them getting knocked out by, or what round, I should say?
Well, it doesn't matter who the Sixers face. They're first and out. They got swept last year in the first round with Embiid, and without it's gonna be even worse. And for the Lakers, I say second and out. I agree with Perry. Like, it's matchups at the end of the day, and if you're gonna be matched up with Jokic and you don't have AD, you're screwed. Jokic babied Montrezl Harrell last year, and he's just gonna do the same thing. And if they face the Clippers in the second round because they lose games because Anthony Davis isn't there, they're screwed. So
The
yeah, I think.
Trailblazers.
Well, I don't think the Trailblazers would beat the Lakers.
What about the Suns?
With LeBron on the court? I think LeBron could beat the Suns.
Okay.
I think they're
think
young
LeBron
enough.
could be
I
the
think they're
Suns.
young enough to give him a run for his money.
I think so
Because
too. But
they're too young to fear, and Chris Paul's not going to let them get intimidated.
at the end of the day, it's LeBron. And if I'm counting on LeBron 40 minutes a game,
But LeBron's mind against Chris Paul's mind, I don't see a big difference in terms of their IQ. In terms of the way
1,
they
2,
read the game.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
fam.
4.
Oh, 100%. But that's a product of, like, a great situation. I'm saying in terms of just basketball IQ alone.
Okay, but yeah,
Alright.
I don't see them being successful either without this big
You
man.
didn't see them being a top 4 seed either.
Yo, Mukhtar, what was the stat that